All right, good day and welcome to another edition of a Google Port Hangout for Channel Beam. And today we're looking at the new FX, the CBN policy that with regards to the foreign exchange. And joining us is Henry Nusegwe. Henry joins us from Paris in France. Henry, thanks for joining us this morning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's even begin with these policies. What are we talking about here? What are these policies?
Okay. Based on the information I have so far, what the CBN is trying to do in light of the decline in the value of the naira against the dollar in recent times is to try to improve market access for a higher number of Nigerians. And so what they are saying is that they will make more dollars available to Nigerians through the banks at the interbank market. The rates that they set will be a maximum of 20% for bank market rate. The bank market rate is the rate at which banks carry out transactions with one another. And so the CBN is trying to improve market access for many Nigerians who need foreign exchange for, say, medical bills abroad or school fees and other areas where the CBN feels that there's a lot of demand. Now, what is currently happening in the market, as we all know, is that there is an official market rate. There's a parallel market rate, which you call a black market rate, where most Nigerians who can't access foreign currency through the official sources have to go to. And, you know, we usually regard that parallel market rate or black market as the real market, because that's where most Nigerians can access FX. So what the CBN is trying to do is to move demand away from that black market to the parallel market where they can access dollars through the banks. And that is why they've come up with this policy. Now, the CBN for now is able to fund this policy because there has been an increase in our foreign reserves position. The attacks by the militants at the Niger Delta has reduced, and oil prices have been stable of recent following the OPEC following the OPEC output cuts. So as a result, our income from our foreign exchange income from oil has been relatively stable and increasing of recent, meaning that there has been more foreign reserves in order to finance needs of Nigerians who want to import or who want to carry out transactions like medical expenses or school fees abroad, outside of the country. And so that's what is happening basically with this foreign currency policy.
All right, but some people have been raising some concerns. Some are saying that it would drain the country's external reserves and even worsen the exchange rate challenges facing the country. Do you agree?
We need to see the policy for what it is. It is a short-term intervention, just to arrest the slide, because we know that the naira has been falling significantly in recent weeks. It is a stopgap measure to prevent that. And we've seen the impact in the last couple of days, because the demand for foreign exchange that used to go to the black markets, some of them have now come to the parallel markets through this policy, and so the naira has been appreciating of recent. Of course, a lot will depend on how well the CBN will be able to continue this policy in the medium term, how well to be able to finance such transactions without depleting its foreign reserves situation. And I do agree that it is a short-term measure, and that, you know, it's not going to be a permanent fix to the solution, to the problem rather. Yes, the foreign exchange situation will be affected if, for example, if there's another attack on the oil installations and oil output reduces, then it will affect our income, the income that flows into the nation's coffers, and therefore affect the foreign reserves. So it's not a long-term solution. Eventually, we'll still have to talk about the issue of fundamentally restructuring or refixing the issues that make us to have to import so much. the issue of domestic, the competitiveness of domestic industry, how easy it is to register a business, how easy it is to carry out productive activities in Nigeria. Those are the long-term issues that will have to be fixed. And we will still have to revisit the issue of the float in the currency, because let's face it, it's this particular policy is not likely to last for long. The effects is not likely to last for long, because eventually the demand in the interbank market will outstrip the capacity of the CBN or the banks to meet them. And so people will have to go back to the parallel market if the CBN can meet those demands. And going back to the parallel market means that Naira will fall again. So long term, we need more solutions in addition to what has been done. This is just a stopgap measure.
Well, because I was even actually wondering how sustainable the policies are, but then you just cleared the air on that. So, but let's look at some are saying that this new rule would rather create opportunities for maybe banks and even some individuals to enrich themselves through maybe round tripping and all that. These are fears also that people have been raising. But then, do you see this coming to the fore, or do you think we could perhaps find a way to cut issues like this going on?
Well, if we want to talk about the problem of round tripping can only be fixed what is arbitrage. Arbitrage meaning that you can access dollars at the parallel market or at the official rate and go sell, sorry, at the interbank market or official rate and go sell at the parallel or black market rate of used to be 520, is now about 450. That was what you meant by people taking advantage of it to enrich themselves. Has reduced the gap between the parallel market rate.
Hello, Henry. If you can hear me, Henry, we lost you for a minute. If you can come again, please.
Okay. Okay, just repeat the question and let me tackle it from the beginning.
Okay, so I was just looking at the fact that people could actually take advantage of this new rule, not even people, but even banks, enrich themselves through round tripping at the expense of the country's foreign reserves. Do you think we can stop that, or do you think that can actually happen?
Okay, yeah. So the only way to remove permanently the problem of round tripping will be to completely float the currency, because now floating the currency means that you allow the exchange rate to be determined completely by market forces, rather than trying to intervene and create a special rate for interbank market or a special rate for official transactions. Now, for now, with regard to your question, is that certain connected are able to access foreign exchange at either the official or interbank rate and resell at the, thereby making a risk-free profit. That has been the round tripping that you're referring to. Now, the only way to deal with that is to float the currency. But this, it must be said that it has reduced the gap. So in terms of the opportunities for corruption or fraudulent, making money fraudulently, the gap has reduced. But the ultimate long-term solution again will be to float the currency. And without a full float, there will still be some opportunity for individuals who have means, who are able to, who have connections, as it were, to access the foreign currency at the interbank market rate of, say, 340, 350, and then go resell at the black market rate of 450 or whatever it is. So the opportunity is still there, and it can only be removed with a full float.
All right, now let's wait and see how that plays out. But then, also, I mean, apart from the fact that I mean, the dollar has weakened against the naira, which is one of the benefits that people or the layman sees, what other benefits are Nigerians likely to enjoy from this new policy? I mean, because I believe it's not only the reduction of the yeah.
So in answer to that question, again, we must make it clear that this is a short-term policy. It's a stopgap measure, and so whatever benefits you're going to see will be short-term in nature. But in terms of other benefits, we know there is a knock-on effect on, for example, if certain individuals are carrying out transactions, let's say importation, in business, or those who have anything to do with importation, who are in business of importation of any kind, whether of materials, raw materials, or manufacturing equipment, or finished goods which they intend to sell, we know there will be a knock-on effect on the prices or the final prices of those goods when they finally reach the market. So all things being equal, a short-term policy like that would, in the short term, affect the final price of those goods in the market, meaning that anything that you are buying abroad will likely reduce in price. Let's say imported cars, for instance. If the average Nigerian wants to buy a car, there might be a short-term reduction in the price of the car because the foreign exchange situation has improved. That, for me, would be the major short-term effect of this particular policy. But like I said, over the long term, how sustainable it will be will depend on whether the CBN will continue to raise the level of income required to provide dollars without compromising our foreign exchange reserves. That would be the question to ask over the long term. The major effect in the short term will be to reduce prices of imported goods.
All right. So one question that has also come through the minds of people is, why was the naira even falling against the dollar?
Why? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Like, why was the naira falling against the dollar?
Oh, okay, yeah. We're talking about supply and demand. There are three things. There are certain things we need to take into consideration. So, supply and demand, number one. Then, when it comes to actual supply of foreign currency, there are several means through which Nigeria gets inflows of foreign currency. The most common, or the highest proportion, has always been income from crude oil sales. But there are also other sources, which include income from non-oil exports revenue. There are also inflows from foreign direct investment or foreign portfolio investment, when foreigners bring in money to invest in the country. And there's also inflows in terms of remittances, when Nigerians abroad send money home, basically send money to their families back in Nigeria. So we need to unpack the several components when talking about what's responsible for the slide in the naira, maybe since 2014 to date. The most common one we know is that the oil prices have declined from 2014 till they became stable in 2016. But there's also something else that has declined that is less talked about, and that is foreign direct investment. In fact, by some estimates, the flows of foreign direct investment have fallen by about 75% in 2016. Now the question is why? Because foreign direct investment has nothing to do with the price of oil, and it has everything to do with economic policies and whether the investors who are going to bring in funds into the country have any confidence at all in the policy direction of the government. And that has been the major criticism of this administration, in terms of setting a clear policy direction that will make it clear to the business community that we are actually open for business. And so that has been the less talked about angle to the supply and demand issue that has caused the naira to fall against the dollar in recent times. The flows of foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment, whether investments in new enterprises in Nigeria or investments in stocks, in Nigerian equities and the stock exchange and other such things. Now, there has been good news in recent times with the Eurobond oversubscription, because the federal government was able to raise about $1 billion or so from the Euro. In fact, it was oversubscribed to be frank. So those are positive things that have happened of recent, but term solutions, we still need the clear economic policy direction to reassure investors that Nigeria is a serious place for investment, so that those inflows can continue to come in as they used to come in the past. And then by the time you match that supply with the demand of Nigerians for foreign exchange, then you have a more balanced situation where the naira can maintain some level of stability against the dollar.
All right, thank you very much, Henry, for joining us this morning and sharing your thoughts on this CBN foreign exchange policy. But that's where we wrap it up on the program today. Thanks once again for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Of course, it's a Google Plus Hangout for Channels Beam and I'm Victor Matthias.